In the bustling, often bewildering world of corporate offices, where buzzwords flew like confetti and meetings droned on endlessly, there was Alex. Alex wasn't your typical junior analyst, meticulously charting sales figures, or drafting quarterly reports. No. Alex was an artist, a subversive, a silent observer of the peculiar dance of corporate life, especially its most awkward tango, layoffs. Alex, a young man with a spirit as free as his unkempt hair, found his muse in the most unlikely of places, the HR department's restructuring memos. While others sighed and updated their LinkedIn profiles, Alex saw art. He saw the potential for a masterpiece in every convoluted flowchart explaining synergy and downsizing. His medium? Flowcharts. His style? Picasso, with a dash of corporate satire. He'd take the bland corporate speak diagrams of who was going where, usually out, and transform them into vibrant Cubist masterpieces. Each arrow, each box, became a distorted face, a misplaced limb, a comical representation of human resources at its most absurd. He started with the Great Reorganization. The original chart was a monochrome nightmare of straight lines and dull rectangles. Alex's version, however, was a riot of color. Lines zigged and zagged like nervous executives, boxes became weeping eyes, and exit arrows transformed into tiny flapping birds escaping a cage. His desk, a tiny island of rebellion in a sea of beige cubicles, was usually littered with his attrition art. One day, Sarah, the usually stern HR manager, known for her encyclopedic knowledge of company policy and her perpetually unamused expression, walked past Alex's desk. Sarah, a woman who measured her words as carefully as she measured her coffee, paused, her eyes usually scanning for policy infringements, widened slightly. She saw a flowchart, not just any flowchart, but one depicting the streamlining of departments, rendered in a style that could only be described as Picasso meets Dilbert. It featured a manager with 3 eyes, frantically pointing a dozen arms at a single terrified employee. The restructuring process was a chaotic spiral, ending in a tiny, bewildered figure falling off the edge of the page. Sarah blinked. Then a faint smile tugged at the corner of her lips. "Alex," she said, her voice surprisingly soft. "What, exactly, is this?" Alex, caught mid-stroke, nearly jumped out of his seat. He quickly tried to cover his latest creation, a piece titled The Synergy Shuffle, which featured a series of dismembered corporate mascots attempting to high-five. It's a new visualization technique for organizational efficiency," he stammered, offering a hopeful, albeit unconvincing, smile. Sarah picked up the Great Reorganization chart. She studied the weeping eyes and flapping birds. A small chuckle escaped her. "I see," she said, her eyes twinkling. "And is this visualization technique going to be presented at our next all-hands meeting?" Alex gulped. "Probably not, Miss Sarah. It's more conceptual." To his surprise, Sarah didn't reprimand him. Instead, she leaned closer. "You know," she mused, "our last talent optimization chart was a bit dry. Could you perhaps add a few more interpretive elements?" Alex stared. Was the HR manager, the high priestess of corporate conformity, actually asking him to inject a dose of Cubist chaos into their official documentation? He wondered if he was dreaming, or if the endless office air conditioning had finally given him a hallucination. "You mean, like, turn the performance review cycle into a series of increasingly anxious self-portraits?" Alex ventured, a mischievous glint returning to his eyes. Sarah's smile broadened. "Exactly! Or perhaps, for the Employee Engagement Initiative, we could have a giant, multi-limbed figure trying to embrace a very small, reluctant blob." She even made a gesturing motion with her hands, as if shaping the blob. From that day on, a peculiar collaboration bloomed in the corporate office. Alex's cubicle became a secret art studio, and Sarah became his unexpected patron. Official HR documents started taking on a life of their own, much to the bewilderment and secret amusement of the other employees. The onboarding process became a vibrant labyrinth, complete with bewildered new hires being guided by a friendly, cycloptic monster. The annual budget allocation was a dramatic opera of screaming dollar signs and shrinking pie charts. Layoff flowcharts, however, remained Alex's piece de rare resistance.